Welcome back to the next chapter of Zero Rares in Standard, or Basic Land Walk. We're here playing basic lands and trying different archetypes for the standard format. Today I have for you Blue-White or Azorius Soldiers. This is a pre-con that comes with when you complete the tutorial. They give you a alchemy version of this deck that you can make some changes to and keep a lot of the rares if you want. I'm trying to test a build of it that doesn't have any of the rares in it and increases the amount of counter spells and stack interaction that it plays. We're playing our Meeting of the Minds, which is our Convoke to draw 2 cards, keep our hand full of threats, and we're trying to play a tempo aggro game. We have counter spells, we have cheap threats, and we have no rares. So let's hit the ranked ladder and see what happens. This is great. We have our lands and spells. Recruitment Officer is one of the best 1-drops we can play, and then we have our pseudo protection spell in Coppercoat Vanguard. This is absolutely amazing. And we have Meeting of the Minds, so we can refill our hand if our opponent stonewalls our small creatures in the beginning. I'm not much of a aggro player, so this is a building theory for me as well, just to see how this feels in the standard ladder. Looks like our opponent is starting off kind of slow, so we're going to get our protection spell in, our attack going. We're playing against more humans, so let's do one of these, see if our opponent wants to trade. Don't think they will. They've got a lifelink creature. Maybe, I don't know their life, but it seems silly to trade with this while you have lifelink, but it might be worth just removing the material from the board. They don't know that I'm getting ready to draw 2 cards. This is exactly the situation that I was thinking Meeting of the Minds would be good. We have a couple of creatures that we didn't want to get into combat with. We have a couple mana open. We can turn this attack into being able to draw cards. And I'm actually going to do it right now, so I don't have to worry about counter spells. I don't care about this thing attacking me because I have so much more damage in play. And now I have Spell Pierce to protect my board, so we're going to get in for 8. I'm actually going to... It's the same, actually. This gives 3 life when it kills the creature, so I don't want to do this out of my Spell Pierce, so I'm just going to untap. If this resolves, it becomes lethal. This buffs this to 4, 8, 11, and I have Spell Pierce. So let's see if we can just win the game. See if this resolves. It doesn't just resolve. I could have Spell Pierced it, but I'm more worried about a sweeper. Opponent cannot afford to attack here unless they have something else to cast. Yep, and that was it. So that felt really good, being able to refill our hand in that early turn and make sure we had a removal spell and protection in hand. That let us dig a little deeper to get to our Lord and pressured the game very early. I think that felt really good. Pop back in. See if we can replicate that success again. This is perfect. We have our 2 lands and a bunch of threats. We have our protection, and we have our flash threat that has flying, which is really good. This creature having flying still doesn't make sense to me, but I'll take it. We have our double strike toxic threat, which is really good. Double strike is a great keyword when we have a bunch of lords. So we're going to just go to combat. These both have flash. We're going to try to use this as a protection spell for our recruitment officer if need be. This thing's going to come in with a +1/+1 counter on it. This card's very, very good. Super pushed. We're going to be able to get it, pick up our recruitment officer, puts a counter on Zephyr Sentinel, and we're just going to trade off with this. Get our officer back out, and we're going to go ahead and run out our Coppercoat Vanguard. We might run out of gas if we don't find one of our draw 2s, but being able to remove, they had 2 of these. We're going to take a lot of damage when these things come into play. So this is a flying haste creature, and whenever our opponent casts a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and it gets out of control very quickly. Hey, there's Meeting of the Minds. That's the card I said I wanted. Let's see what our opponent wants to do with this. They don't care. That's awesome. So I'm going to play Jawbone Duelist, and we'll just plan on holding up this interaction. If we draw a land, this becomes an anthem, so we might be able to trick our opponent. Hopefully they don't just try to kill us here. So we're going to take 2 from this. As long as they don't give this thing trample, we should be okay. That's going to give that thing trample. Do you have another one? Do I just take 11? I take 11 and I draw a land. That's 5, 8. If I... Oh man, no blocks. I need to draw a land. That wasn't it. We might just get burned out, but if we don't, we have a decent game. If I drew a land there, I had a lethal attack because of this double strike. They're just going to lightning strike my face. We're down to 2. I'm going to cast this, go to blocks. I think I just die though. This is going to be 2 that rolls over, and that's lethal. Yep, good game. Well, maybe. Super close game. We didn't have the land coming anytime soon either. I feel like that was a close enough game to feel comfortable saying that it was competitive. At least it felt competitive. Gandar, see what you can do. Once again, this is an awesome hand. We have our land, so we have a good curve. We have a protection spell now. So I think I'm just going to hold that up. Maybe try to get a removal spell of our opponent. Looks like it might work. They're going to try to cut that down. We're going to use our Zephyr Sentinel to pick this creature up. Play it around it. We get to play our officer again. Get in for 3. We have another flash threat here looming. We're going to have a very big attack next turn. Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. That's going to eat our board. That's fine. We're going to play another threat. Drop a Lord. Get in for 2. Childred's pretty good. Childred punishes us for drawing cards, so having to refill our hand is probably not something that we get to do for free. It's going to cost us an additional 4 life to be able to cast our Meeting of the Minds. It might be worth it if that's what we need to do, but our opponent is playing a lot of cards that are very good against what we're doing. Mythic, rare, it's going to happen. A 2 for 1? Interesting. Perfect. So I need to draw a plains to be able to kill Shieldred. It's going to cost us a bunch of life, but I think this is the play that I have to take if I want to try to win the game. So I need to do... Is this going to let me tap my creature? We did not get there. No attacks. I need a plains very badly to be able to cast Lay Down Arms. So now I'm not even going to get to do it. They're going to take it, more than likely. They didn't attack me. That's probably a mistake. But we're going to play Vanguard, swing with our 2 5/5s, play a blocker for the Shieldred. They get to eat a couple of creatures, gain some life. Even with this pressure, all the rares and mythics that our opponent has whipped at us, this feels like a decent game. We're going to play another Coppercoat Vanguard and just get to swinging. If the bat dies, then we get to remove the Shieldred, which is super cool. Looks like Shieldred's going to die for free anyway. These ward triggers do stack. That dies for free. Very cool. Now we're going to see if our opponent has another Shieldred that they get to play. We'll go ahead and take our card draw while we can. We'll get in for 3. Opponent to 1. This is a flash threat that makes up another body. They're playing that as a blocker. We'll get around it with this creature. Go to combat. And that's the game, everybody. Once again, no rares. We were able to overpower them with synergy and a solid game plan. Something that happens when you are playing with what is quote-unquote crappier cards or lower quality cards is your cards have to work together better. They're not as strong as standalone game objects, so you need them to have synergies, which is very common in creature tribal decks. Like Recruitment Officer is not a super solid card as a standalone. It's very powerful in a soldier-themed creature deck, which is what we have to build around. So it looks very strong in the shell, which is exactly what we want out of it. Looks like it might eat a removal spell here. You can tell because the game stops and doesn't pass priority right away. It means my opponent has an instant or something they can cast. Which, if you've been playing on Arena for a while, you usually know when they have something. I'm not sure what this takes. Probably Lay Down Arms, because if it doesn't take Lay Down Arms, I just kill the bat. Yep, that tracks. We drew a flash flying threat that actually eats the bat in combat, so maybe we'll be able to eat a free lunch here. Sweet. They're going to attack. We're going to flash in our soldier, eat the bat for free, and then we have a draw 2 available to us, so we're just not going to attack. And that's fine. I don't know what this takes. Probably Lay Down Arms again. Either way, I'm going to be casting Meeting of Minds. It might take the Lord because I'm getting ready to cast it. That's fine. We're going to take our beats for 4. They're going to exile a thing, maybe. They're going to exile their own bat to gain some life. We're good. And then I'm going to draw some cards. Not exactly what I wanted. I think we're just going to play the Lord and go to combat. We have Menace. Does not have Menace. Okay. We have to fight with this card again. Shieldred is very strong. Yep, seems fine. Shieldred can basically just solo our deck, especially if we already have a lower life total. They might have a second Shieldred if this is the attack they make. I'm just going to take my block. They get to scry, make a treasure, but I can't just take free damage. Let's draw. It's wonderful, but I need to find some more planes. We just don't attack. We just hold back. Sucks. Shoulder just makes it so hard to dig for answers because we take 4 life for casting our draw spell. Let's go ahead and counter that. I don't want that to. I don't want this to happen. I need one more Lord effect. That will work. Now we can do this to get that back. To swing in. We have to try to clock our opponent. So we only have 3 more cards we get to draw before Shieldred just kills us. So, yep, draw. lose 2. Let's see. This is in the air. They have to block. This is 5, 10, 14, 18. This is 21, 25 damage. So I think that I can get away with just exiling this. And I think that we put them in a position where they have to block. These mites that this thing makes don't have, or they can't block, so I'm not worried about that. They might be counting on it, maybe. I'm not sure. I could have definitely just anthemed my creatures. That's my fault for not playing with the deck. 5 mana is the number required. We're going to go to combat and just swing out. There's a phrase in Magic where math is for blockers, and I'm going to make my opponent body that right now. They're blocking a 4. That's still dead. So they die with those blocks. They go to 1. Yep, that sucks for me. That doesn't do anything. It's just unnecessary. Yep, they go to 1. We say good game. We take the gentleman's way out. We draw 2 cards into the Shieldred. Click the OK button. Thank you. Trigger. Bang. So that was super close. I probably punted that game away by not antheming my creatures. I think that's an easy thing to identify. It's like I probably punted that game. But that deck feels really strong for having no rares in it, and we just really want to dodge Shieldred in the ladder. So let's do a quick recap. Pop this back up. So I really think that we can clean this up, or at least there's a very clear upgrade path. So there's a lot of rares that apply to the deck. And if we just go to here, there's a soldier-specific land that if you want to upgrade this, Urban is in the precon. You'll have this in your version of the deck if you want to play it. And if you attack with 5 or more, it just anthems your board. Super good. Really solid deck that you have access to just with the first install of Arena. So, it was a lot of fun. If you enjoy the content and want to see more of it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Zero Rare build. Take care.